Hey guys, welcome to Payouts channel and Where is My Money podcast, the show where we explore what actually works in marketing, affiliate, and digital business in 2026. We are live on the Payouts YouTube channel. Today we have Jenny Gonzalez, known as Online Jen. Jenny is the CEO and co-founder of Rocahead, a performance marketing network that works across finance, dating, and lead generation. She also built Trackfinity and tracking platform and just co-founded the App Agency, which fixes broken partner programs. But what I really want to talk about today is her core business right now, US finance offers, mortgages, loans, debt relief. Jenny, real pleasure to have you with us. Give us the quick version of who you are and what are you doing right now.
All right. So my name is Jenny Gonzalez, and I grew up in the affiliate marketing industry. This is all I've ever done. I worked my way from junior affiliate manager to CEO in the first 10 years of my career. And on the operator side, I was on the advertiser side. And then after 10 years, I decided to go on my own and create Rocahead, which is a performance affiliate network, and how we became publishers instead of the operators. And since then, about 3 years ago, that was in 2019, and about 3 years ago, we decided to go into the SaaS part of the business because we were not happy with the current tracking. And that's when we created Trackfinity. And about a year ago, not even like 6 months ago, we created the App Agency, which is where we do consulting and help people with their affiliate programs. That's me in a gist.
Amazing. I hope you have at least 1 hour per week to have rest with all those projects. So just quick one before we dive in. You wrote a LinkedIn post titled Leggy Blondes and Low APR, comparing dating traffic to finance traffic. I have to know which vertical has worse conversion rates and which one is more fun to work in.
Um, they're different, but they're similar, right? When like about 2 years ago, the whole dating industry collapsed. Something to do with payments. A lot of advertisers were not able to process as much, and it became more and more difficult to convert traffic. For a long time, we made our specialty to do API submissions. We will have our own landing pages, and then based on our own system, our own cascade, we would submit to the different advertisers. So when that happened, we started looking for a different vertical where we could apply everything that we know, right? We come from email, from API, very technical publishers, and we want to add value to both sides of the equation. And eventually we landed on lead generation and on finance, which, funny enough, the data is a lot more delicate because you're dealing with people's financial information, but ultimately it's still an API. There is so many similarities. High volume, huge saturation. Also, it's a paper lead. So there is so many similarities that don't make sense, but at the same time they do. So we were able to transfer all of our knowledge from dating to lead generation finance in the US. Our experience has always been mainly in the US. And it's been like a year that we mainly do this.
I love that. Okay, let's go into the money because I think a lot of people on our channel watching us right now, it's iGaming audience or ecom traffic audience, and they have heard for sure something about finance US offers, but I think they still have no idea how it actually works. So let's start from zero. Jenny, you said on LinkedIn again, we own and operate a finance offer in the US now. That means we only win when the full chain works. Walk me through the ecosystem for someone who's never touched finance. What are the main offer types? Mortgages, personal loans, debt relief, insurance. What does each of those mean? And how is actually paying the affiliate at the end of the day?
All right. So you have the big loans. So that's going to be your mortgage, your car loan. If you want to start a business, let's say you have good credit, you've been in your house for and your job for at least 2 years, you have a super steady life, you're a great candidate for a loan. And every company wants to give you a loan. But you're also like a magical unicorn to find, right? This is a whale in gaming and dating, like these people that are like, oh my God, this is the ideal lead. What we see is that a lot of people applying for these loans are trying to get out of debt from health, like some sort of medical bill. A lot of them want to start new businesses. Others have gotten in a bad cycle of just the US being the US. So people living off credit on top of credit, huge percentage rates, and they're just trying to get out of it. So a lot of times they end up looking for a payday loan or debt consolidation or all these other things. You have two categories: people that have an amazing profile, good credit score, everything, that they're just simply looking for the best possible loan. And you present that profile to your best lenders and you see who's willing to pay more for a lead. And for that, you're looking just for the email submission. And for that lender to be able to call that person, you're looking at something like $300 for that lead. Then you have the guy on the other opposite side of the spectrum. You have the guy that is like in a bad cycle, living paycheck to paycheck, trying to make ends meet. And that is going to be a guy that is every day online, looking for a loan, submitting their profile everywhere. And that's going to be like a super saturated, low value lead. And you might be looking at like 10 cents for that. But either way, you get paid every day for all these different profiles because they're still trying to get a loan, and based on their different characteristics, you get paid for that. Then there is all these awesome programs for debt relief. Once you get into this hole, there is special programs in the US that consolidate your debt, and they negotiate with your lenders to help you. Like, okay, I will pay you 40% of the debt, but for sure it's going to be paid. And then you just end up paying just this one person. They also pay you for those leads. So based on where the person is, what we did, we created a website called Money Knots. And behind, we created like super comprehensive software that analyzes the data, looks at fraud patterns, looks at saturation, looks at every possible like data component, because we see a lot of leads every single day. And from there, we determine who we're going to send that lead to. I think that's the easiest explanation of what it is.
Very interesting. Let's drop a few words for those looking at us not from the US. You mentioned good credit score. What is it in
uh,
simple words?
so in the US, actually in the UK too, you have the history of all the money that you've asked for and how you've been able to repay it. When you have a credit card, a car loan, a mortgage, every time that you pay on time, that helps with your credit score. Every time that you miss a payment, that you have a delay, that they're not able to contact you, it puts negative numbers on that credit score. And based on that number is the risk factor of whether people want to give you money, lend you money or not. In the UK, for example, it's always with your bank. Everything that is the credit score in the US is your bank account in the UK. And you have a certain number. And that number determines your ability to borrow money. I think that's the easiest way I can explain it.
Sounds like Black Mirror, for those not in the UK and the US. They have something similar in China, I guess, not credit score, but social score or something. Very interesting part. So let's talk about the money chain. A consumer sees an ad, click on it, lands on a page, and what happens next? Explain me step by step.
They fill out a form, and the form goes step by step, asking them their information, how much. Okay, in the US, you can have secure debt and unsecured debt. So not all debt is the same. The debt from your credit card is not the same that the debt from your mortgage or the debt from your school or debt from medical bills. Depending on the amount of debt that you have, just because you owe a lot of money doesn't mean that you qualify for a debt relief program. So you fill out this form, and the form is already gauging, is this a good profile, not a good profile? Should this person even be asking anyone for money at this point based on what they reply? So halfway through the form, we can be like, we think you actually should get out of the hole instead of getting deeper into the hole. So we will promote debt relief offers. And then at the end, when they fill out all the information, then we can be like, oh, we submit that based on EPC to the different, I'm so sorry, hosts. Estou uma videochamada.
That's
I'm
fine,
so
don't worry.
sorry.
That's live. That's live.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Let's go on.
So
You've been talking about step by step, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So based on what you reply on that form, you get directed to one way or the other, one offer or another. We also did it's not exactly a cascade, but we have a way to mathematically calculate who is likely the best lender. There is about 300 lenders behind the form. And based on EPC, what we're seeing with similar profiles, what the system determines is likely to happen, we send it to the lender that is likely to pay more for that lead. And for a good lead, you're talking anywhere from $1 to like 300. And for like someone that is not in a good place and that is like desperate online looking for loans, it's going to be super saturated. So you're looking like less than $1 for that lead.
Very interesting. Let's talk more about payment models in iGaming. For example, we have CPA, CPL, revenue share, or hybrid. And I would say conditions and payments are transparent since the very beginning. And what I hear from you, I can be paid $1, even 10 cents, you mentioned, or $300. So how to understand the price or payout or the average payouts for such offers? Because I am, as an affiliate, for example, or media buyer, I buy ads. Yeah, I spend my money, and I need to know how much can I earn to predict my ROIs and so on. So tell me about this model.
So here is different than iGaming because you're going to get paid for every single lead that you bring on board. It's not just for a deposit. So the conversion rate is super high. Like at least 80% of the clicks are going to be a conversion, right? So huge difference from iGaming. But instead of having one payout of like 250, whatever your CPA is, you're getting paid per every single lead. So then you end up with an average price per lead. And that can be from $8 to $10. But it just depends on the saturation and the quality of the traffic. So let's say you're buying CPC traffic, which you can buy because it's white hat. And there is another affiliate that is investing $5 million a month on those keywords. Guess what? They're going to get to the right person before you. By the time you get to that person, that lead is saturated. So it's not necessarily the traffic source only, even though it's important, it's the saturation of the database. So let's say you're not buying ads, but you have an email database and you're constantly emailing those people. You're still going to pay for every single lead that comes through. But if one of the leads hasn't been seen for like 30 to 45 days, it becomes a good lead again for somebody else. It's like it's so different from iGaming because you're
Yeah, it's
constantly
awesome.
getting
You can
paid for the
resell
same
the
lead.
same leads. Yeah, you can resell all those leads. And what is a qualified lead? Like, for example, at what moment an advertiser or lender, you call it, understands, okay, I can pay for these leads this amount of money. For sure, it's not only
So
after they fill in the form, yeah? They need to make a
pretty
call
much,
or something.
no, after you fill in the form.
How do you prevent fraud in such case? Because, with our current technologies, anti-detect browsers, proxies, VPNs, and so on, guys who are watching us will create millions of forms, in 1 hour, and the
It's
advertiser will
so
pay
easy
for
to
all of those.
detect. It's so easy to detect fraud right away.
Sounds like
We
that. Sounds
we
like
have
that.
we have the system. We have the system. We created our own system. We can tell right away. 10 clicks. I can already tell you that your traffic is not good.
Awesome. How do you detect it? Some cases, maybe. Not all
The
of those, but
amount
several
of
examples.
like the amount of data points that you have, um, the user agent, like there's so many different ways to tell. And then if you see
Mhm.
every lead, you detect patterns. The system is constantly monitoring for, I already saw this lead from this other affiliate, but in that case, it said that it was from here. Like it's so easy. The system right away is like, oh, not good. But it took us a
Okay.
lot of time to determine that. And that's exactly what the advertiser has as well. So once you provide all the data, they compare to the database and be like, this person from this IP in this state saying all of this matches with somebody that we saw 30 days ago, which means
Mm-hmm.
that person is legit. We also know that we called them, they're a real person, whatever. But because we haven't seen them in 30 days, now I can pay you again $80 for that same person.
Amazing. So it's not so easy to fraud Jenny and her system. So do it
It
in a
is
white
not
hat
so
way,
easy.
mostly. Okay. Lucky you. So, summarizing, US Finance is a lead gen game. The consumer fills out a form, the lender or call center qualifies them, and if the deal closes, you will be paid from 1 or even 10 cents to $300. You mentioned this is the
$300
biggest amount we can earn, or there are potential to
for a
grow,
lead.
for example, for a
For a
lead.
lead. There's
Okay,
different payment
amazing.
models where you cannot get paid for the lead, but you could do like a percentage of the loan, like 3% of the full loan. But that's a long-term game, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Sometimes people that do like debt relief or something like that, they might pay a CPA of like $80 for every lead that qualifies. And that has more because of the secure debt and the unsecured debt. But if the lead qualifies what they're looking for, you can get a very high CPA. And then others will give you a percentage of the loan. But for us, because we have a very fast reacting system, we want to get paid for every single lead so that we can identify how to distribute the traffic in real time. I don't have like a month to wait if this is going to convert. I need to know in
So,
10 seconds.
So sounds like I need to launch those ads shortly, I would say. And you mentioned there are leads like exclusive or fresh leads, which are new, and there are leads which you can compare to what you already have on your database. So do you consider those leads are the same if we talk about payouts? Or, for example, for one kind of leads, you will pay less or more?
It's very easy to see. It's all about the quality of the lead, right? Based on the social security number, you see the credit score, you see all of that. The advertiser gets to see all of that and they check it. So based on the quality, that's already a very high payout. If it's fresh, it's the highest payout. If it's saturated, it's going to come down. Like it's been seen in the last 30 to 45 days, then that payout, even if the lead is super good, it's already saturated, but you get paid again. You always get paid no matter what. The difference is based on quality and saturation, you're going to get paid more or less. But if you have an email system or you're sending SMS and you send me the same person every day, you're still going to get paid every single day for that person. As long
Oh
as
wow.
they go in and fill in all the stuff for the advertiser and they go through the system, you're going to get paid.
Sounds amazing. And that's clear about credits. Insurance, you work with it also, yeah? With these
Yes.
insurances.
So,
is there any
yeah,
difference?
very, very different. So insurance was super hot like a year ago. And then everyone burned it. Like you could not get Facebook traffic that was not for car insurance. Now it's very delicate. Advertisers are getting a lot more aggressive with what qualifies, what doesn't qualify. Um, and they have like a lot of hoops that you have to jump through. And to get capped is super hard. So here we're not talking you're gonna get paid every single day. For insurance, it takes a lot longer to clear the payments. Like I'm used to like weekly payments for some of my other verticals. And for some stuff here, it's like 30, 60, 90 days to get paid, which is insane to me. But it's a different vertical, and this is how it works. Once you have enough volume, the payment terms can come down. But yeah, insurance is a lot more delicate. And now something that I don't work with, but I know is super hot, is something called final expense, which is like an insurance for when you die that covers like burial, everything, like pretty much makes sure that your family doesn't have to pay for anything in the case of, you passing away. But it took me forever to figure out. I was like, what is FE? Like, I would see FE everywhere. And I was like, what is it? And someone was like, final expense. I'm like, I still don't understand it. It's like, it's your final expense. It's the last expense you'll ever make. I'm like, oh. And that's what it is.
And here in the US, we have a lot of ads on the TV, on the radio about this topic. And if you consider to launch it within your system, or you consider to launch it wherever you're watching us right now, affiliates, you should keep in mind this is like a culture, like I would say cultural aspect, yeah, because they are thinking and started investing money in this topic, if we can call it a topic, yeah, that is a topic somehow.
Yeah,
So
it is.
yeah,
Yeah.
they start not like right before, I would say, but Middle Ages, even in
No,
young,
yeah.
yeah, when they're
Pretty
young,
much like
and
at
they
our age, if you have kids, you already think, you know,
yes,
and the
yes, to
way that
protect them
is
from
promoted,
expenses, yeah.
yeah, the way that is
Hmm.
promoted is like take care of your family, don't leave them in debt, because that is another issue in the US, right? If you have so much debt, people inherit your debt and it ends up ruining their credit score or whatever. So the way that this is promoted is like, if you love your family, you're going to
Yes,
take care of your own
exactly.
funeral.
Exactly. So, I mean, you shouldn't target only hospice centers in the US, but you can target the wide audience with this topic and attract leads. So, coming back to the track, you mentioned Facebook already with the insurance. So, let's talk about the traffic. What traffic sources working with the US finance offers right now in 2026? What is your favorites? What is the most profitable, I would say?
Okay. What works? Everything works. What's the most profitable? Very different answer. So for me, email and SMS, chef's kiss, because you're constantly getting paid for the same lead, right? So it's super profitable. As long as you're doing drops and as long as you're doing send outs, it's beautiful because then it's all about controlling what you send to whom, which is what we do. That's the most profitable traffic. If you have your own email list that you constantly email to and it's like healthy and like is related to the topic, amazing. And for SMS, also, those are the by far the most profitable traffic sources for this particular offer.
Okay, and when you're talking about SMS, do those affiliates have a database of phone numbers? Is it legal to send
Yeah,
SMS in the US?
sometimes,
Nice.
yeah. So sometimes it's a whole world. I've heard all sorts of things. Sometimes even the cell phone operators are in on it. They like it's a whole thing. But let's say one way or another, it could be through you could be like a landing page for summon sweeps or whatever, win an iPhone, and you put it on the terms and conditions that you will market to them. So depending on what the landing page, if I were a new publisher, I would buy Facebook traffic and Google traffic to my landing page to collect the data. So now I have email and SMS. And then the external offers, I only promote on the email and SMS, not directly, because it's not profitable to
That
do it
is the best
directly.
approach. That is the best approach, I guess. I wonder, was it legal or not? Because when I just got my first phone number here in the US, like I left the this facility with my first phone number, and I guess 1 hour late, I got 10 SMS about loans, about credits, about everything. And I'm pretty sure within this 1 hour, I didn't share my data with anybody. So
But
that was my question, if it's legal or
that
not.
phone
Yeah.
number probably belonged to somebody else before.
Uh, Definitely, I guess so. They were
That's the
calling some
problem.
Robert or whatever. Yeah.
That's the problem.
Okay,
Once the
that's clear.
number is on a database, then even if you switch numbers, it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's weird because technically that person did give their consent, right? Like for
Yes,
one thing or
exactly.
another, you end up with that person's number. You can always, for sure, there is always a way to say, don't text me again, like stop it, whatever. Um, but for you to start receiving stuff out of the blue, your number has to be in a database, 100%.
Definitely. So let's talk a little bit about TikTok and push traffic. Let's say, I guess it's not the most profitable source for you, but are there any tests? Are there any affiliates who works with it, and
Push,
what can you tell
I would
about
do
it?
push. Actually, push, I would do if it was my own data. I'm a huge fan of first party data. I believe in buying, like, I've seen amazing TikTok campaigns for this, right? And there is people that do it fully AI. And now the customer is like, can identify some minutes of AI video. So, in fact, actually, for insurance, they won't even let you have an AI video. It has to be a real person. But for loans, you can still do AI videos, but the conversion rate is not the same. If you have a normal person just like yapping, like a yap video, it converts so much better. However, this is me. This is my own advice. What I would do if I was a publisher, I would never send that traffic straight to somebody else. I will always send it to my own landing pages to collect the data. And that's the only way that traffic will truly be profitable long term.
Sounds fair enough. I can confirm that was with the Nutra Health and Beauty offers about 10 years ago already. That was the approach, and it still works. Collect your own database, and you can resell it so many times, not only with the credit offers or loan offers, but there is a huge, big world,
It's the
I would
same
say.
person. It's the same person,
Yes,
right? That was my
yes.
approach always with dating. The same guy that is looking for a leggy blonde also has a car, also has a mortgage. Like we're humans. We're very complex. So I think
Yeah.
as a publisher, you get really, really good when you learn to connect the dots, when you learn that this one human has many different needs and it's your job to identify those needs and be able to put the right offers in front of their eyes at the right time. That's why I personally don't like just sending traffic to an offer. I usually like to collect my data and then rehash that data as much as I can, because then it's extremely profitable.
Okay, and if we're talking about social traffic sources like Facebook, for example, what is the target audience? Like, what is the age? What is the gender? What is the most
So,
profitable people in the US for those types of offers? Not
so
students,
this
I
is a
guess, and not retired guys.
yeah. So this is
Huh?
it has a special Facebook category where you cannot target. So you cannot target age, you can only target by like state. There is like a lot of like, once you go into finance, the ads are a special category, and there is stuff that you're not able to target, but it's a very wide audience. Like you're going anywhere from like 20 to 55. Like it's super, super wide. Male and female, like yeah, it's super wide. So then
Like
what
the
you're
whole
looking
audience
at
who can
is,
work and earn money to spend it on loans and so on.
yeah,
Super
pretty
clear.
much. Anyone with like a steady job can qualify for a loan, is the US land of the credit, right?
Sounds good
The
enough.
idea,
So, yeah,
the
yeah,
idea
go
is
on.
for you to have your Facebook pixel from our system firing back of what is making money, and for the campaign to optimize itself. Once you get enough leads, be like, okay, these are the kind of people that I'm looking for. But technically I cannot be like, oh, you can do males from like 35 to 45, like it was with dating. With dating it was very specific. With this it has a special category, and you have to adhere to like those rules from Facebook. It's still white hat,
Exactly,
but it has special rules.
exactly. Um, Talking about those special rules, is there any compliance? Like, for example, I should mention on the creative that taking a loan may be dangerous if you have no money or something like that. Some disclaimers. Should I
There
mention anything?
is so much compliance, so much compliance. So a lot of times you cannot promise that they're going to qualify for a loan, but you can also not tell them they cannot get a loan, because that's racist. um, it's the language has to be like, you could potentially qualify for a loan. You could potentially access up to 30,000 in 5 minutes filling this out. But you can never say something is definite, because then you are in murky legal waters. Same thing for insurance. You could potentially lower your insurance, uh, your monthly insurance payment, but you can never say like you will get a better insurance deal, because you are not sure. So the claims have to be vague enough for people to understand that they're only applying. Doesn't mean that they're going to get it.
Exactly. I can totally agree that what I get regular in my mailbox, not even email, you mentioned emails. I got so many letters in my mailbox. You're pre-qualified for loan, car insurance, and so on. So it's crazy. Yeah,
Well, that means you have
pre-qualified
good credit.
potential and those words. I'm not. I'm only half a year here, so
Okay.
this looks very strange. Let's talk a little bit more about the funnel. You mentioned there are forms on these landing pages, and what do they look like? Tell us about the exact steps and what on the page or in the form that makes someone actually submit their personal information for a loan.
I mean, the design is very minimalistic, but there is nothing I can do on the form that is going to make you want to send it. The only reason you're putting in all your information willingly is because you want the money. But we like to ask extra questions. Some people ask less questions because then the conversion rate is higher. But we would rather have more data points and make sure we're sending it to the right lender. But honestly, this is like nothing I've ever seen before. You can do a form with 17 steps, and people will go through the 17 steps just because they're trying to get the form to get that loan.
Mm-hmm.
In other
Mm-hmm.
verticals, you would never ever think of having so many different steps because the conversion rate will be terrible. Here is the opposite. The person is so eager to give you as much information as you wish so that they could potentially have access to that. Super weird.
Very, very, very interesting. And if we are talking about creatives, one approach is you're pre-qualified or you have some potential for a loan. That's clear. Are there any other approaches like fear-driving approach, for example, you're drawing in debt, or are there any other ways, any other
Relatable.
pains which we can cover?
You're talking to humans. Always go for the human angle. Like if you hit that point, that pain point, right? This is a 100% psychological creative of I've been where you are. I was exactly in the same position and I was able to accomplish this. Or based on this, I fill out the form and I qualify for this. You could maybe also qualify for this. So it's very, very, very human. Of I understand you, I know where you are, I'm not judging you, and this is what I did that worked for me. Maybe it can work for you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, kinda. So let's talk a little bit about SEO traffic. Do you have it on board, and is it realistic for a solo affiliate to run those offers on SEO-based traffic?
It
What do you
could,
think?
but you will have to be like hosting like a review site and have super good SEO traffic. And then with AI, it's getting harder and harder to like get that
Mm-hmm.
organic traffic. So is it possible? Yes. Is it difficult? Also, yes.
So your general recommendation and best traffic source is SMS or email database. If you don't have it right now, you go to Facebook and try to collect those databases and go on with this data.
That's what I
That's
would do.
super clear. Thank you for sharing. If you have more questions about the traffic, let us know in the comments below. Jenny and I will join and help you with the first launches, I guess. Yeah. So, Jenny, let's talk about. Mhm. Yeah, okay, Jenny, let's talk about launching the first campaign within Rocahead, within your network. Guide us step by step. I'm an affiliate. How I can start with you? What should I do?
Normally, you end up contacting me and you're like, oh, I want to promote your offers. And the first thing I'm going to say is like, okay, who are you working with? Like, are you legit? That who knows you? Who can vouch for you? Because the amount of fraudulent traffic on this vertical is insane. So we try very hard to have a difficult onboarding, but at the same time, once you onboard, we're going to do everything we can to help you succeed. So if we have to, we'll review all your creatives, we'll review the steps with you, we'll talk to the advertisers, like we will create specific landing pages for you. Some advertisers give back the data. If you don't want to host your own landing pages, um, you can request in a secure way that all the data that was submitted from your traffic, you get back. And there is like some legality, some stuff that needs to sign, some stuff that needs to be coded and whatever, but you can get that data back. So we will do everything we can to help that campaign back out for you. But normally you go to rocahead.com. Actually, no. Normally you contact us first. We talk. We realize if you're legit or not. And then based on that, you sign up on rocahead.com. We approve the account. It's like super straightforward tracking. You can do iframes, postbacks. You can do your own Facebook pixel. We have so many different parameters that you can send, and we will help you set all of that up so that you're, set up for success. But in general, the worst part is the beginning. Demonstrating that you are legit.
Do you have any limitations if we talk about countries? For example, I know many US-based brands, they are ready to work only with the US-based companies. So that's very interesting. You're in Lisbon and working for the US. Make a comment on it. And if we are talking about affiliates, can they be, let's say, from Eastern Europe or from India or from Africa? Why I mentioned those regions, I guess you know why. Unfortunately, there are a big community of fraud affiliates, how
Yeah.
we call them.
Yes.
Yeah, what do you think about those?
Technically, you can be from anywhere, because I'm not going to say everyone from India is bad. Everyone from Pakistan is bad. Everyone from Eastern Europe is a fraudster. No, there are good people and bad people everywhere. But understand that very likely you're going to jump through some hoops to demonstrate that you're not part of the bad apples.
Definitely, definitely. So let's talk about mistakes which affiliates make during the first launches of US finance offers. Let's say it's a new affiliate who never worked with the US finance offers. What are the main mistakes? What should we try to avoid while the first launch?
Not sending subsources. That is by far the most common mistake, because then your whole account gets blacklisted. And I've seen this happen so many times. I'm like, oh, do you want to send subsources? No, I'm good. Boom. Goodbye. You've been blacklisted from all these different advertisers, and have a great life. And it could be one subsource that was messing with your quality. But if you don't send the right parameters with your campaigns, you put yourself at a way higher risk than you should. I think that is the number one mistake. Number two, coming in guns blazing. Something is working and you scale to the moon. You're like, oh my God. Like, you have to warm up this. Yes, it pays for every lead and is amazing and you can make great money. But if you're smart, you're going to slowly warm up the account. Because if you go too big too fast, and like, God forbid, there is some fraud in there, they might not even pay you for anything. Like, some advertisers get super angry with fraud and they'll be like, no, I'm not paying for anything that came from this affiliate. So then you have the two problems. You're scaling too fast and you're not sending sub sources. To me, those are like the capital sins. And also not placing a postback. For me, anyone that doesn't place a postback, I
That's
know
not
within
serious, I would
weeks
say.
they're
Yeah.
gonna die. They're gonna die.
Definitely. So, if we are talking about those bands of affiliates, you mentioned even one subsource can like influence the whole traffic. Do you have any hold or period when you're not paying an affiliate checking his traffic, and when an affiliate finally get paid for his traffic, after what actions, what period of time?
So when we first start, we do a month, like we do monthly payments, and we still wait 2 weeks. So let's say all of June went through, and I will clear your payment by the 15th of June. If by the 15th of June, none of the advertisers have complained about your traffic, I have reasons to believe it's good. So you'll get paid. As we go scaling, we can do it like net 7, like it can get lower. But you have to be consistent with the traffic, because that's another thing that I see a lot. Up and down, up and down.
That's
Terrible.
how it works, and that's not only not every time because of this guy is lazy or not. There are technical issues. There is
Oh,
lack of funds and
100%.
so on. That's why. Yeah, I think so.
But
So if
sometimes with other
yes,
affiliates, you see like they're doing this, they're scaling super hard to negotiate payments, then they lower the traffic, they're scaling hard somewhere else to negotiate payments. So that doesn't work. Just choose someone, scale with that like network, and then work consistently to get better payouts, to get better terms, to get better everything. But I think that's another big mistake that people make.
Sounds fair enough. And if we're talking about launching traffic, how much money do I need in my pocket to launch first traffic for the US finance offers? And how much money do I need to get first ROI if I'm a newbie in this industry?
I think with $100, you already know if you're going to back out or not.
But for $100 on Facebook for the US, how many leads you will get? 1, 2,
No,
3
no, no. You
maximum?
cannot pay out. No, you should not be paying more than $2, $3 per lead. Remember that you're not targeting. So your leads are cheaper because you have a super wide net.
Yeah, but the
right?
quality of those leads with wide targets, I guess it's not super good.
That's
Yeah.
the problem. Okay, so you pay less and you just have to make sure that you're getting paid more than you're paying for, which is why I usually recommend using those traffic sources to collect data. Because if you send it straight to the advertiser and you don't have the data, then you have a problem because you just paid all this
Definitely.
money, and for any lead that didn't get paid for is straight up loss for you. But I think, yeah, couple hundred, you should already see. Obviously, it's not going to be like the best performance ever. But if you already get like 50 back, you're like, okay, I can tweak, I can make this break even and be profitable.
Fair enough. Okay, Jenny, the obvious question, why should I choose the Rocahead instead of going directly to the lender or to the advertiser? For sure, you're taking cut of the payouts, some margin 100%. On it. So why should I share it with you? Why should I share it with you?
Because I took the time to develop the technology that a lot of the advertisers haven't. And if they have, that they're not going to share with you because it's a very delicate vertical. And purposely, people are like, advertisers are very vague. They will never tell you why someone is fraud, what patterns they're seeing. Like, they just tell you, like, I'm not going to pay for this. And you're like, okay, can I have a report? And they're like, no. You're like, okay. So that's why we went out of our way to develop such a robust system. And that's the difference. We do want to talk to our affiliates. We do want to be like, actually, whatever this source is not good. This is what's happening. Like, turn this off. Right? We are used to better communication because we're publishers too. We understand how much traffic costs, and nobody wants to send all this traffic and suddenly be told that you're not going to get paid for it. So I think that's the main reason why I will go with someone that has the technology that I don't have the time or the knowledge to develop.
You mentioned the case when with 1 or 2 bad subsources or fraud subsources, and a publisher was banned by an advertiser, and like, I will not accept this traffic anymore. Were there any cases, at least one case, when you successfully relaunched such an affiliate? For sure, made your mistake, work on mistakes, fixing those bad sub traffic sources. Were there any relaunches? Because that can be an additional value here also.
What we do, instead of relaunches, we can customize the lenders at a publisher level. So not everyone has the same people in the back end. Based on your traffic, we can be like, let's not send it to this specific lender because they don't like their traffic. So even if you get banned by one advertiser, we can remove that advertiser from your specific cascade. And as long as nobody complains, everybody else can continue paying. If you're working directly with the advertiser, you get banned, you're done. And you're not going to go and find the amount of advertisers that we find every single day. So that is another added value. We can customize what offers are behind every cascade for every single publisher. And we're constantly monitoring, which we've also seen that depending on the advertiser, some people monitor better than others. some of them do zero optimizations and last minute be like, oh no, I'm not gonna pay for this. And you're like, excuse me, you haven't spoken to me in a month. Like, what are you talking about? So we're almost daily talking to you about your traffic, giving you feedback, like, hey, this is good, this is not good, like potentially if you tweak this, and we're trying to see what advertiser likes your traffic so we can switch the positioning in the cascade for you specifically as a publisher. Always comes
Yes,
down to the tech. It comes down to the tech. We are going to develop the
always.
tech to make you more money. That's our job.
Exactly. If we're talking about the check process, the quality process, the check of the quality of your affiliates which you acquire, you mentioned it's a long process. So I wonder, do
It's not
you?
long. It's long if you don't know anyone.
Yes, that is my question. That is my question, because you have those affiliates and names which are known by everyone in the industry, experienced one. Okay, he was not working with finance, but he was working with iGaming, Nutra dating, whatever. But there are guys who is joining the market right now. Yeah, like Zoomers, Alpha generation, whatever you call it. So and they have no such experience. Can they start with you? Are you ready to educate them to run traffic? Are you ready to take them on board, those newbies, or you're not interested in those guys?
This is on a case by case. I've had it where I've spoken to new affiliates and you can tell that they're very smart, they're very turn on, or they understand how traffic works. You just need to help them a little bit get started and it works. And other times you talk to new affiliates and you're like, no, you need to go study and come back. Like, it depends. This is a case by case.
So at least
You
you
get a
should have
feel
some
for the person.
knowledge. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. At least you
At
should
least
have some
understand how the
knowledge to start
internet
with you.
works.
Yes, and watch more videos on our channel. Definitely, we have so many case studies, so many information about running traffic. If you watch every video and go to Jenny, I guess you'll have some experience, and there is more chances to have an approval from Jenny and her company. So let's talk about real numbers. What does the lender actually pay for different types of leads and funded loans? You mentioned like $1 and $300 for an affiliate. Can you share
Every
some
single
information about
lead,
margins? How big is this business? What do you get on your side?
I depends on the affiliate and how much volume. I have some affiliates that I give them like 95% of the money. If you have quality and big volume, I'm not greedy. Like, my system works and I'm gonna make money. If I make a little bit of like a big volume, I'm fine. Like, not
Is it
greedy at
enough for
all.
those 5-10% to for sure you have some employees, you have some servers, you have some tracking system, you have your needs to be paid. Is it enough, 5 or 10% margin?
If it's quality, yes.
Oh, sounds good. Sounds good enough. Okay, let's talk about mhm. Yeah, let's talk about ROIs. ROIs in this industry. Do we talk about 100, 200, 300 ROIs, or ROIs is also 5-10%? For example, I spend, let's say, $1,000 on the Facebook. How much will I get back from those potential leads? On
That's a super,
average,
super
on
hard
average.
calculation. It's
Yeah.
hard because it depends who you are as a publisher. You can spend $1,000. I can spend $1,000, but the way you chose your campaign and how you decided to go at it is different. I can spend the same $1,000, send it to my own landing page, start emailing that list, start SMSing that list, and first month I might break even. Second month I'll have 50% ROI. Third month, and like by the 6 months, I might be up 300%. That's the
Mm-hmm.
difference. If
Yeah.
you spend a
Smart
thousand
one.
dollars, send it straight to the offer, and it doesn't back out, you just lost like maybe 200, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to say, yes, this is the average, because it's such a high saturation industry that you and I both can be running Facebook campaigns and you can hit 4 super fresh leads, and that makes up for your whole campaign. You just made way more than you invested, and everything else is just pure profit. And I can hit all saturated profiles. You can send the same guy I sent, but you send it 5 minutes before, boom, I lost my payout. Like mine is gonna be 10% of what you're gonna get paid. Like there is so many different factors. So that's why I look at long term, something that you can do recurring with the same data.
Yeah, that's clear. If you have more questions about finance, loans, credit, or whatever finance offers in the US, let us know in the comment below. We will come back with more content about this topic. And now let's talk a little bit about you, about your way. You've been running dating for a long time, dating offers. What you bring from dating industry to the finance? You mentioned in the very beginning there are so many similar cases and similar technologies which you are still using. What is your number one pick from those experience
So
you have?
not all dating is created equal. Not all dating publishers are created equal, right? Me particularly, we spent years fine tuning this system that would predict where to send the lead and if we had seen them before, how they converted, all of this. That's why I was able to transfer to this. From dating, from like maybe like from 2000, like 10 years ago, 2016, I would never send direct traffic to any advertiser. That was just my personal choice because I understood if I worked on the technical side and I did API submissions, I could take a much lower payout because then I wasn't wasting any clicks. I was only sending the clicks you were going to pay for. So I could take a fraction of the payout, but find a buyer for every single click. So my conversion rate was 2, 3 times as high as just a regular media buyer. And that is the type of affiliate that I am now for finance. Very technical,
Yeah,
using technology, not necessarily to be greedy or get paid more from the advertiser, but understand where I have to send every single click to make the most money.
exactly. And that works not only with dating and finance, that works, as we mentioned, with all industries. So technical first, then creative, compliance for sure. If you work with the US, keep that one in mind. Very important part. So you're based in Lisbon, running US offers. So US time zones, US compliance, US call centers, I guess, on the advertiser side. How does that actually work logistically? Do you sleep at all, or how do you work?
Actually, like the worst is like when I have to talk to people in California because it's towards the end of my day, the very beginning of their day. But being Europeans, like all of us are Europeans in the company, normally we go through the same KYC that everybody else does. We get on a phone call. They're like, okay, they speak English. They're based here. Our company papers, everything is like online, super transparent. We've been around for many, many years. And also, I have a good reputation that precedes me. Even though I'm not American, a lot of companies are like, this is Jenny. I've seen her on LinkedIn. She's been going to conferences for 15 years, whatever. Like, it's a lot easier for me to get access to that market. Then, from the second I open my eye to the second I close my eye, my phone is constantly going messages back and forth. As soon as New York wakes up, which is usually like my 2 in the afternoon, then from there till 10, 11 at night, my day is busy. But in the mornings, I do all the admin stuff. I talk to affiliates in Europe. I talk to people on this side of the world. So it's a lifestyle.
So you
Um,
you
I, it's,
combine, you combine. That
yeah,
sounds good enough.
it's
Yeah,
No, that
and
was it.
you
Like
also
it's a
joke.
lifestyle.
Definitely. You also joked that you look like a Harry Potter talking to a snake when you use AI. So,
Oh my
what
God.
AI tools are you using in your finance business right now?
Oof. Um, there is a lot going into it. Depends on one side. On the technical side, we've used a lot of AI to do prediction models for fraud. Then on the creative side, like we help our publishers by combining all the compliance rules. We make guides, we make best practices, kind of try to like chew all this crazy information and give it to the publishers in a way that it works. But AI is like an intricate part of our business in every single way, like from analyzing traffic to trying to come up with better flows to being compliant to helping our publishers. Sometimes I even like redo creatives for the publishers. I'm like, yours looks pretty bad. Like, use this one. um, it's happened. It's happened because I know theirs is not going to convert. So why not do something better on my side if I
Yes,
can?
sure, sure. But what AI tools exactly? Like, for example, Claude or anything else? Do
My
you use anything
personal
else
stack,
besides Claude right now? Yeah.
oh, 100%. I
Yes.
use so ChatGPT, Manus, and Claude. Those are like my head AI. Then we have different tools for creative. We have different tools for coding, Cursor for coding. We use, I know other people in the company use the Grok Max, I think is called, like the
Hmm.
Super Grok.
I got the idea.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and that one does really well. Pretty much like everyone chooses their own poison. Me personally, these are my three, and I'm constantly playing with the credits because I run out of credits very often. So ChatGPT, like I have all sorts of like custom GPTs and projects and like things that like think like me. And I have it in all three, but based on my usage of one, I would switch back and forth so that I can always have the information that I want compiled the way I want. But it takes a lot of
Exactly.
training. I've been training all my tools for like 2 years.
Yeah, awesome. I have quite the same list to be honest. So you should use many AIs right now to be compatible with your competitors. Let us know your scariest business decision in the last 12 months. What was the hardest or the most scariest challenge for you during this year?
Switching, um, switching verticals
Why
because
was it? Yeah.
nobody knew us. We just showed up, the new kids on the block that nobody knew of, and when you say like I have no experience but I want to run your offer, like I haven't been running this forever but I understand how to run it, it's very very hard. And when you're dealing in a vertical where nobody wants to speak to you, and even when they tell you something it's not very clear, is scary. It took us a lot of putting stuff together, for talking to everyone to be like, okay, this is how it works. We put in years of studying the vertical to be able to run it. And now we're like, okay, we know what we're doing. Like we have beautiful scale and all of that, but that was scary because when you switch verticals, you go from being top dog to being nobody. And that is
That's how
like,
it
am I doing
works.
the right thing? I
Yeah,
think
that's
that's the
how it works.
scariest.
New experience. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And the final question for the affiliate watching this video who's been running iGaming or e-commerce or whatever other offers and is looking at US finance for the first time, what is the one thing, the most important thing they need to understand before they spend their first dollar?
It's a beast. There is fraud traffic everywhere. So understand how the beast works so you can deal with it. and understand that you will have to optimize and tweak before you're profitable. You're not going to be profitable on day one, but there is lots of money to be made. And the fact that you get paid for saturated traffic is very different from other verticals, and it's very beautiful because it gives you the option to have more data points and understand your own traffic so much better.
Big, beautiful business. If you would like to join it, let us know in the comments below. We will leave Jenny's contact in the description. You can check them right now and message her about your first launch, or maybe not first launch, of the US finance offers. So, Jenny, thank you very much for sharing your expertise. That was Jenny, Online Jen, CEO of Rocahead. Thank you so much once again. This is a hands down one of the most practical episodes we've done on Where Is My Money podcast. Actual numbers, actual playbooks, no bullshit. Guys, if that was useful for you, hit subscribe on PK Ads channel so you don't miss new episodes of Where Is My Money podcast. Give us a like, share it with your media buyer friends who are still sleeping on US finance. And if you want to get started with finance offers, Jenny's team, Rocahead, in the description below, as I told you already. Hit them up, rocahead.com. And here is my question for you in the comments. Are you running finance offers right now? What is your biggest challenge, traffic compliance or payouts? Drop it below. Until next time, keep building, keep scaling, keep making money. Bye-bye.